wildly different standards in each project area. It just makes it easier for us to administer it all. So the standards you're looking at today are primarily based on the ones in Wasatch County. Probably 95% of what's in here is similar to Wasatch County. And I've taken pieces from our other standards also. And in the course of doing that, you have to adapt them a little bit to fit the project area. So the thing that's different about this project area is the fact that they're so scattered out and they're different kinds of property. And the National Guard made it clear to us that they would like to operate under their normal system when they're developing things on their own property. So these standards set up a kind of a dual system where if it's a National Guard project on National Guard land, they won't use our standards. They'll go through DFCM, the Department of Facilities, Construction, and Management of the state, and that's who'll govern their development. So these standards primarily are just geared towards things that MIDA would develop on their land outside of their fences or the land in Tooele City. And because of that, we've set up 2 DRCs, which are essentially what a lot of people would call planning commissions. One for the lands that are military lands and ones that are not. In the lands that are not military lands, for example, the lands in Tooele City, we add members to the DRC from Tooele City so that we have local people involved in that. Now, as I put these together, and this gets to the kind of the crux of, I think, the concern people have, I go through those standards we already have, and I take out things. I've revised the parts that need to be revised, but I take out things that aren't applicable necessarily. For example, the mountain roads are a big deal in Wasatch County. They're not a big deal here, so you don't find any standards related to mountain roads. One of the things I stripped out that we have in some of our standards was information relating to data centers. I missed a spot. Morgan, if you could go to the next page, to that chapter 3 page. So there, right here in chapter 3, in this first paragraph, doesn't even have a number, it's the intro paragraph. You'll see there's a sentence that talks about these land use regulations are intended to ensure that energy generation facilities, data centers, manufacturing operations, supporting infrastructure, mixed-use areas, and agriculture areas are developed in a coordinated manner that supports safety, operational efficiency, and compatibility between uses. Frankly, that's a holdover from another project area that I just missed as I went through here. So my suggestion today, there is nothing else in this document that deals with, for example, data centers, is that the board adopt this if you're inclined, and you strike that phrase out of there. It won't affect the standards. It's actually not a standard. It's just an intro paragraph.
Can you make it bigger so I can read it a little bit better?
Yeah, please do, Morgan.
And Richard, just to clarify, are you proposing striking that entire paragraph or just the sentence that starts with land use regulations?
You know, I think you can strike the entire sentence, quite frankly, because I think there are other things in that sentence that aren't necessarily permitted uses in this project area, such as mixed use. There's nothing in these standards about mixed use. It's a section that was just left over, and I like I said, I missed it. My fault as I put this together.
So effectively, again, this is Eric Rowland, starting with the chapter 3 land use regulations, and then it would go straight to 3.01.
Well, I think I would leave the first sentence. This chapter establishes the permitted land uses, operational standards, and land use requirements applicable to development within the project area. Then strike the next sentence, which is the rest of that paragraph. And then leave the second paragraph. And so yeah, that part right there. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying.
I would recommend that you strike that sentence.
Yeah, because there's really nothing in here that deals with that, correct?
Right. This doesn't deal with those. It's a, like I said, it's a stray sentence that made it in here. And
are there any manufacturing operations? No mixed use, you said. Are there any manufacturing?
There are manufacturing operations, but those are covered in other places in here specifically. And they're listed as a permitted use in these areas. So taking it out of this sentence, which is just an intro sentence, wouldn't affect that at all.
Okay. All right, thank you. Keep going.
And unless you have some questions about this, I'll just reiterate that these are very similar to what you would find in a city. There's nothing particularly unusual about them. They match what we do in the rest of our project areas for the most part. And we would propose that they be adopted so we can move forward with some development in this project area.
So tell me, the Development Review Committee, do we have those in? Tell me a little bit about how they work in the National Guard armories.
Yeah, that's a good question. So in the National Guard project area, there are some projects where we will lease land from the National Guard. And so it's on National Guard land, but it's actually a MIDA project. And in that case, we have a 3-member DRC with 2 members from MIDA and 1 member from the National Guard. And what the DRC does, for those who may not know, it's the equivalent, you hear it also called the Planning Commission in a lot of cities and counties, is they hold public meetings to review site plans, master plans, subdivision plats, those sorts of things. So that is another layer of review that it goes through. And for
So when there's a
projects,
city or county connected to this, normally we have the city or county people involved in the development review.
yeah.
committee.
So, and like I said, Tooele is a good example of that. So there are some land inside of Tooele City, non-military land, that Tooele City asked us to include in the project area. And so for that land, it's not National Guard land. We will have a 5-member DRC, and we'll keep the original 3 members, and we'll add 2 members from the local jurisdiction. So in that case, it would be 2 members that Tooele City would recommend appointed, and so that they're involved personally, they're involved and integrated into the development process. Tooele City is. We try to work closely with our partners. We don't want to build something they don't want.
So we have city and county oversight. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I think unless you have some more questions, that's kind of the nuts and bolts of it.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, this is Gary. I have a question
Go
real
ahead.
quick for
Go ahead.
Richard. Hey,
Looks
Richard.
like Gary, then it looks like Senator Stevenson has one. So I'm going to go to you first, Commissioner Harder.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Richard, you mentioned, is there anything else you wanted to add relative to the emails that many of us have received, a reference to this resolution? Because they were in a couple different groupings overall. And I appreciate you highlighting for us for the deletion of that one sentence that certainly addresses one of the things in there. Is there anything else you wanted to add on any of those other emails you've seen?
And Mr. Harder, I'm not sure I'm familiar with, I've seen at least one of those letters. I haven't seen the variety of them, but I know one other thing that was raised was there was a question about, well, why isn't there anything in here about water rights?
Right.
Well, there's a very simple answer to that. And I don't think there's much about water rights in any of our standards. And having worked at West Valley City for 30 years, there was nothing in our city standards about water rights. Water rights are governed by the state.
The state.
And they're not under our jurisdiction. They're under the jurisdiction of the state engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's great, Richard. I just wanted to have you state some of those things.
Yeah.
That's what we were asked. Many of us have asked that some of these things be stated in the meeting. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, the one part we would hope, the role we would have in that is before we approve a development, we do need to make sure they have access to water and sewer and that sort of thing. So we would rely on whatever agency it is that's reviewing that to tell us, yes, they do, or no, they don't. And that would affect our moving forward.
Mr.
Okay,
Chair, could I
But
say something?
we don't review that ourselves.
Mr. Chair, could I add something to that?
Yeah, go ahead. I think Senator Stevenson would like to jump in too, but go ahead.
The thing I was going to add is just as water is controlled by and governed by the state and the state engineer, other permitting processes are also governed by the state. For example, any air emissions is governed by DAQ, Department of Air Quality. So there are numerous different state organizations that exist and frankly supersede any municipal type activity in any project area or any city or town. And none of that is changed or affected by being in a MIDA project area or otherwise.
Thank you, Mr.
That's
Hammer.
great
And just to
clarification.
quickly follow up on that, we
Go
have.
ahead. We'll maybe get to Senator Stevenson, but go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Richard.
I was just going to say, Mr. Hammer's exactly right. MIDA has no powers beyond what a city would have. So we cannot usurp state powers or things or federal power or anything like that. We're the equivalent of a city.
And we work closely with the cities in the development.
Yes.
Senator Stevenson, I'm going to let you chime in.
Thank you. Hey, I'm not sure that you're probably all aware of what went on here on the Hill yesterday in regards to data centers. But where you've left that out, I think it's really a good idea to leave it out unless something burns brightly, leave it alone until after the legislative session if possible, because I think they're going to come up with there'll be quite a bit of legislation looking at data centers. We certainly want to try and fit into that if we could. And it's a topic right now that's burning rather brightly, and it seems to be there's just a lot of misinformation out there on what they are, what they do, why we need them. And so if you don't have to come back in with anything on that in the near future, I'd leave it alone until we see where all this lands, which will probably be in March sometime.
That's a good idea. And then, we've been dealing, Senator Stevenson knows, and even MIDA knows that we've had a data center, I think, have been the issues for at least 5 years, maybe more than 5 years. And the legislature dealt with legislation, and not in the 2026 session, but a year before, so almost a year and a half, 2 years ago. Senator Sandel ran a great piece of legislation, and it does a lot of the regulatory process, and there were other legislation that require water to be, at least the amount of water used to be disclosed, and it requires any data center that comes into the state of Utah to produce more power than they consume. We have the lowest electric rates, some of the lowest in the entire country. And the legislature took a proactive approach that we didn't want to give up our low electric rates. And so any data center that comes in has to produce their own power 100%. And that's already in state statute. So I hopefully that'll stay. I think that's a good requirement. And I think we actually required them to produce actually more than they consume. So Rocky Mountain Power has been a little constrained with their capital budget because of the lawsuit of the fire in the Northwest. So we're a growing state. We need additional power resources for regular businesses. And if they produce more power than they consume, that will help augment the need for the capital that Rocky Mountain Power is deficient in right now. So there's a lot going on with data centers. So thank you for that comment, Senator. We'll wait for the legislative process to work.
If I could make just one more. We know that we're going to probably receive some pressure from the military. They are very interested in data centers here in Utah to cover some of their needs. And we need to make sure that we can cover that, but we need to be very graceful how we go through this process, because it really is, it's probably as hot a topic as we have on the Hill right now. Thank you.
Yeah, it is.
Could I make one last comment, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, go ahead.
The discussion just triggered another thought I had that it might be helpful. There is a process to amend these standards, and you've seen standard amendments come before you several times, for example, from Falcon Hill and Wasatch County. And I just wanted to let you know this is unusual that we would bring you standards without them having been reviewed by a DRC. The only reason it's happening this time is there is no DRC yet because it hasn't been established. So once you establish these standards, any amendments to these will go through the DRC process with public hearings and things like that before they reach you, and you'll get them with recommendations.
Thank you.
So, and I did let our partners in Tooele and with the National Guard know that as we implement these, we often run into little glitches. And so you might expect us to be coming back with some small changes in the future. And if there is hopefully legislation at the state with data centers that would be appropriate, that would be the process for including it.
And that's why the cities and counties that MIDA operates in have been so happy with us because we've been basically reflecting what they want us to do. So thank you for that. That's a great catch. And they will go through the DRC, which is mostly made up of the local cities or counties. Let's go ahead. I'm ready for either further discussion or action on this resolution, this item on the agenda. Any action on it?
Senator Stevenson, I would make a motion that we approve.
I have a motion by Senator Stevenson to approve. Do I hear a second?
This is Eric Roland out. I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. I don't see further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? I'll count that as a unanimous vote. I'm not sure everybody's mics are on, so I didn't hear all the ayes, but I assume they were there. Okay. Let's go on now to, I think, item number 4 on the agenda, the second major item. Falcon Hill Project Area Director, Hillary Venable. Well, go ahead, Hillary.
Thank you.
Resolution 2026-19. Why don't you go ahead and introduce it?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Board. My name is Hillary Venable, Project Area Director for the Falcon Hill Project, presenting this First Amendment to the Interlocal Cooperation Agreement between MIDA and the North Davis Fire District. Just for a quick background, back in July of 2016, MIDA and the North Davis Fire District entered into the original Interlocal Cooperation Agreement, under which North Davis Fire District agreed to provide fire protection, emergency rescue, medical services, fire code enforcement, and development plan review services for this Falcon Hill project area. In that agreement, Section 5 anticipated that the service area would grow as the project area was developed. And of course, over the last 10 plus years, it has. And MIDA has assumed jurisdiction over additional property within the project area. So that being said, this First Amendment negotiated between MIDA and the North Davis Fire District makes 3 principal changes. First, the terms. It extends the agreement terms for an additional 10 years, so through June 30th of 2036. The second item is the service area, which it expands the service area to encompass the entire Falcon Hill Enhanced Use Lease area boundary. And the third is the compensation. It replaced the original fee schedule with an annual base plus per call fee. So just by way of information, North Davis Fire District reviewed this interlocal amendment with their Board of Trustees in June and approved it just here in June of this year. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have with it or recommend that the board adopt the resolution 2026-19.
Do you have the cities that I mean, you may not have this, but the cities that North Davis Fire covers?
So this would cover the entire EUL. So it would.
I know we're talking about both the Weber and the Royce Center, the entire EUL.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But North Davis Fire has they have cities that they cover. Do you know which is? I assume Clearfield. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't stepping on Clearfield.
Yes, I believe Clearfield is a part of their service area.
Okay. And other jurisdictions were aware of this or asked to be involved. Okay. All right. Other discussion.
Mr. Chair, this is Gary. I'd like to make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2026-19 as described.
I'll second that.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Well, that motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, go ahead.
may I interrupt for just a second?
Absolutely.
I just wanted to confirm that approval of the resolution adopting the standards also included deleting that sentence that we had talked about.
Yeah, I thought that was the motion, but do we want to go back and revisit to make sure that's, do we do that by unanimous consent here, or do you want to?
Sure, I think that would be helpful. I mean, maybe if I apologize, Mr. Stevenson, if you,
That's a good
Senator
point.
Stevenson, if you included that, but I
Yeah,
just
so
wanted to make sure we made that clear.
Let's go back there and make sure, just so that we've got the record straight. You know, I'll take a motion to reconsider action. I think, let's make sure I've got the right resolution here. Resolution 2026-18, the adopting the National Guard project area development standards. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh,
Aye.
let me take a motion. I can't make that motion. Let me get a motion from someone.
Okay, I made the original motion, so I would move that we reconsider and that we move to the action that the president just stated.
Okay. I see Mr. Harder second that. I could see that second. Is that right, Gary?
On the motion to reconsider, yes, not on the original motion, though. I didn't make that one.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. A motion, if I got it right, by Senator Stevenson, and a second by Mr. Harder to
Correct.
reconsider.
To reconsider.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Rule that motion passes. Now we'll put the issue back in front of us. I'll go to Senator Stevenson for a motion.
I would move that we adopt the motion as the president stated a few minutes ago, or a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, and again, I think the motion is that we adopt resolution 2026-18, striking the highlighted on the, at least on our screen, but the highlighted area that we talked about, eliminating that. Is that correct?
That is my motion.
Now do we have a second?
Second.
I
This is
couldn't
Gage.
get where that came from.
This is Gage.
Gage, thanks,
Yep.
Gage. Commissioner Frohr. You have a motion and a second. I don't see any discussion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Rule that passes unanimously. So we got it right. So thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, thank you for Richard for catching that. And again, I think we all assumed that, but we maybe didn't articulate it well. So thank you for going back and making sure the record was right. Let's go now to, we get to hear from our new director, Dan Hemmert. I'm going to turn some time over to Mr. Hemmert to talk about resolution 2026-20. Go ahead, Mr. Hemmert. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a hopefully an easy resolution, and it's kind of a fun one. So this is a resolution to approve a donation from MIDA of $100,000 to the USS Utah Commissioning Committee. And just to speak a little bit about the ship, it is a Virginia class Block 4 fast attack nuclear powered submarine. It was christened in October, and I'm learning all this, so I'm acting like I know what I'm talking about, but basically christening means it entered the water, and it's christened and blessed when it enters the water. And then it does a number.
Not yet. Not yet. It didn't at that time, excuse me, Executive Director. That's when they smashed the bottles over. It went in the water in March of this year is when it went in the water the first time.
You know better than I do.
Mr. Harder, he would know the technical side of it.
Yeah.
Mr. Harder, keep our director straight, will you?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
seriously.
Mr. Chair.
No, do it, Mr. Harder, or I might default back.
Let me talk about it real, Mr. Chair. If
Yeah,
that's
I'm
okay
going to
with
give some
you.
time to Gary if you want to go ahead.
Dang it, I lost my
I
one
can tell he's
chance.
excited on this issue. You got to get a
I am,
submarine named USS Utah, and we got a lot of excitement in the room. So go ahead.
Well, this has been a long effort. It was named in 2015 at a ceremony at the Capitol. Its whole number is 801. It's not lost on anybody that's our area code, or the area code for the vast majority of the Wasatch Front and others as well. The namesake
hopefully
is
435 doesn't feel discriminated.
Do you know, I actually, I emceed the ceremony. I actually kidded on them. I said, so we have two more to go, 435 and 385, but
Yes,
we'll see how that goes.
We may have to. We may have to
The-
demand their serial number, but keep going.
The USS Utah battleship, obviously the namesake, is still in the water just off Ford Island at Pearl Harbor, along with the Arizona, the only two that are still there. It was sunk on December 7th, 1941. The Virginia class, as Dan was saying, is the newest nuclear-powered attack submarines. The Virginia was the first named one in the class, why now called the Virginia class, and they've been naming them after states ever since. So the USS Utah was the last one. It was the end of October. I had the honor of being up with Mike Maurer for the executive branch. Dr. Susan Lee and Marianne Huntsman were the two sponsors of the boat. They smashed the non-alcoholic in a shout out to Utah on the hull.
Typical Utah.
It was a tremendous event overall. Like I said, it went in the water in March, and next year it'll be commissioned and it will join the fleet if it's depending on how all the testing and the sea trials and everything go from there. So we've been involved in this effort for about the last 11 years, and we'll keep with it. And one of the things I know Dan was going to get to, but I'll just do it. One of the things that all the states do is they try to have a great connection with the crew and with the boat for which the state is named. Members of the crew, including a couple of the skippers, because they already have skippers that go through the building process. And they're now on the third skipper, the commander that I've met on this process. They have come out to Utah. Some of y'all may have met them as well. They go around the state and they bring a handful of crewmen with them. They were just here for the 24th of July, Pioneer Day. They were on the submarine float that is always in the main parade, as were previous ones as well. And they come out during spring break. They come out at other times as well. And what the commissioning committee does is tries to make that bond stronger and stronger. A lot of the more common non-warfighting spaces in the submarines are adorned with things that give the feel of the state for which they're named. Think of the crew's quarters, think of their recreation areas, think of their wardrooms, which is where they eat, and those things. And the commissioning committees, then when they did the christening and when they will do the commissioning, there are big celebrations up at Groton, Connecticut, as there were last time when we were there in October. And they get monies from private sector, public sector, and others to help them be able to do. And they want to always have a legacy for the future and really strengthen that bond. And to be honest, the naval services within the state as well. So hopefully I didn't spend too much time on that with it. And Dan, thanks for letting me jump in on some of that as well. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you,
That
Mr.
was
Director.
way better than what I was going to say. So
Yeah. Anything you want to add to it, Dan?
no, just to reiterate. So it was christened in October, entered the water, floated away in May. It's doing tests. They expect to commission it. As Gary said, that's when the Navy accepts it, first half of 2027. And we would love MIDA to donate $100,000 to the nonprofit organization, the USS Utah Commissioning Committee. And that's the resolution that we would put forth to the board to approve and adopt.
Really worthwhile. And when it's commissioned, I assume there were some tours of it before it was christened. I don't know how that works. Mr. Harder, you can probably tell me, but we ought to invite some Utahns back. I mean, obviously, it'd be fun to be there, but there may be some people that have a real intrigue for submarines in Utah. We ought to do if it is an event that you could have multiple people there, we ought to make sure we advertise it well for any Utah that would like to go back and be a part of it.
And Mr. Chair, I just add, it is a nuclear-powered submarine, and as you know, we've leaned in heavy and continue to lean in heavy on kind of trying to lead in the nuclear renaissance. So
Yeah, Mr. Harder, any thoughts there as far as what happens when it's actually commissioned?
It will, as Dan said, they will have a large celebration. We will have a contingent, invite a contingent of Utahns to be back up at Groton for the Navy acceptance, or if they decide to do it at one of the coasts where it's going to be based as well. But we will ensure with it. There were a number of the sponsors were there for the christening that we had in the state, or that were up at Groton when we went up. It was really a fabulous event. And for me, for an Army guy, to see a weapon system that large, and because it wasn't in the water, that was impressive to say the least. And the crew's about 130, somewhere in that. Mike Bauer and I had the opportunity to talk to the entire crew up in Groton, and it was terrific. Some of them are from Utah. They grew up here, but I've been very impressed with the crew, both the officer leadership and the enlisted members who work on that boat. And I'm sure it's going to represent the state of Utah very well, as always has, but certainly after it joins the fleet. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Harder. Yeah, Senator Stevens would like to make a comment. Again, in addition to inviting a contingent, I don't know if it's appropriate. We ought to get a better advertising. I don't think many Utahns know about this. And I'm sure there's some kids or somebody that may be back in that area would like to go back and actually see it. So might be appropriate, maybe not, but I'd like to make sure if it's appropriate, we will open this up to the public. Senator Stevenson.
Yeah, just as we make this donation, I think we need to advertise that and make sure that the state fiscal analyst office, everyone knows that we have put that money in and that MIDA was created for a specific purpose, and we are working with that purpose. I think it's very positive that we're doing this, but I believe that a lot of times they think we're just going out and building big projects and not doing a lot of things. And I think our mandate is that we would help the military across the board. I just sent Gary a text. I told him I was a little nervous with having an Army guy talk about the Navy, but wasn't sure how I accepted that. But I think we need to make sure that $100,000 donation, we need to make it blink on and off a little bit within the state here.
I agree. And I wasn't sure how close the Army guy like Gary dared get to the water, but we'll see. Okay.
Chair, they take us to no, I'm kidding. I've worked in a naval command before, worked with naval officers. And one thing I learned through a military career across the board, I mentioned about the particular crew overall. And Army, I work a lot with Hill Air Force Base, was up there yesterday and the day before as well. The men and women who serve and those who support them, the families and the civilians who work, are truly the best that we have. And I think we see that time and time again. I've been involved in the military, either wearing a uniform or supporting it for 46 years now. And I always stand in awe of those who serve. And they're so much smarter than I ever was as well. And I think each generation, they just get better and better. They're truly great Americans. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Appreciate your service. And even though we do tease you a little bit, so thank you. Thanks. What a great opportunity. I think we need some action here, don't we? So let's get a motion. I'm going to take it from Mr. Harder. I think you want to make this motion, Gary, don't you want to?
Mr. Chair, if you believe that's appropriate for me to do that, I'm happy to do that. I make a motion to adopt Resolution 2026-20 as described. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I'm going to go to Senator Stevenson for the second.
I would second that.
Okay, thanks. So we have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously with a lot of excitement. So thank you.
Mr. President, if I could for just a second, the first time I met Mr. Harder, we were out at Dugway Proving Ground, and he was carrying a canteen, and that was the only thing I thought he knew about water was what was in that canteen. That's why I made the remark that I did.
A good Army guy would carry more than one canteen. So anyway, okay. Let's go ahead and move on the agenda. We've got to stay on task here. I think the next item is number 5, if I'm moving down the agenda right. I think Hillary, you're going to take that also.
Yes, thank you. Once again, I'm happy to kick off the project area updates. I have with me Brett Christensen, the EUL manager for Hill Air Force Base, and Jason Brisbilla, he's with SRDP. But before I turn it over to Brett, I just wanted to give a quick update on an upcoming project at the Aerospace Museum. It's called the Gateway Project. So as many as you know, the museum's expansion was completed a year or so ago, 80,000 square foot expansion. Under agreement with the Air Force and master developer, Sunset Ridge Development Partners. Now, the museum's Gateway project will complete the gift shop and a new gateway entry, along with 2 additional offices within that gift shop space. This was originally identified as an add alternate to the main project. And now, with funds secured, the museum has the opportunity to bring this final step to life. So as Sunset Ridge Development Partners, or SRDP, who led the original museum expansion so wonderfully and successfully, has voluntarily stepped back from the lead developer role on this final expansion, freeing them to focus on the broader pipeline of projects within the project area. So in a show of continued partnership, all of us worked together, stepped in, to make this happen for the museum. MIDA will act as contract administrator, just handling procurement, contracting, and payment administration. And the Hill Air Force Base's SABRE program will serve as construction manager, developing the scope of work and coordinating Air Force approvals.
Well,
It's a great
that's an exciting change, but what a great work they've done. So let's go ahead, keep going, Hillary.
No, I was gonna echo what you were gonna say. It's a testament of the strength of relationship between MIDA and our developing partners and Hill Air Force Base, just to find the right role to keep this project moving forward. So we're very excited, and of course, I'll keep you informed as the project gets underway.
Yeah, that's a great report. It's easy. When you report on something like that, I don't think any of us know all the work really that's gone on behind it. So please thank all those that have done so much in the past to make the museum such a great spot, and those that have helped to make this transition. So please express that, if you will.
Absolutely. And with that, I will turn it over to Mr. Christensen.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Morning, everyone. I just wanted to make a quick comment on a couple things we're going on here at Hill Air Force Base from an Air Force standpoint. We're underway on the 1800 North Gate and construction, as you're aware. I think Jason will give some more information on that. So we've diverted traffic and we've started work on the interior roads at Hill Air Force Base. The other item I'd like to talk about is 1573. We had a steel top off that Jason will speak about. Moving fast on 1573. Really excited about that building. The budgets are holding really strong on that. Lastly, I always like to bring up the 1200 series. We're currently have 50,000 square feet of 1200 series that have been demolished. We have another 100,000 square feet empty, ready to be demolished. And we think in the next 12 to 18 months, we'll have another 100,000 square feet empty, which takes us to close to 25% of the 1200 series empty and either demolished or ready for demolition. So just wanted to report on progress there. Thank you for all of your support and help to MIDA. And
I think we'd all like to applaud for the 25% and looking forward to 50. So keep going.
Deal. It's a deal. That's all I have to report to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments on that? Sorry to kind of jump in and step on you, but we're pretty excited to see that work done. That's again a ton of work being done on the base or behind as we moved the fence in the project area. So thank you. Any comments? If not, let's keep going.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I can finish the update on Falcon Hill here. Let me just share my screen real quick. Relatively brief update today, and both Hillary and Brett have touched on most items here. So today I'll show some progress photos for our projects under construction. And so SDL 13 and 14 are our two inside fence flex office buildings. They're nearing completion. So I'll show some progress updates here shortly. As Brett mentioned, great progress on 1800 North Gate and building 1573. And then a lot of our design and planning is currently focused on the Roy Innovation expansion that I'll talk about shortly, as well as other infrastructure with the south end, the north end. And lastly, working with Weber State and Hill Air Force Base to continue design on the camp building, the Center for Advanced Manufacturing and Production. Building 1573, it's great to see there's a building there now. As you can see in this top left image, we've just finished all the steel. This picture is a few weeks old. Just last week, our contractor held a topping ceremony, which is when you place the last steel member on the structure, and was really excited to get base leadership and the base commander out there to see that. And so pleased to report that the project is on budget and on schedule, with completion is currently estimated in sort of the second quarter of 2027. So contractors doing really great on that project and progressing it. Always want to highlight that we're estimating over 750 seats to this new Class A facility out of those 1200 series. So really excited with the progress and partnership with Hill on this one and MIDA. Jumping to our WSOA, the West of Software area, these are the two flex office buildings inside the fence off of Wardley. As you can see in these images, we're actually nearly done with the buildings. Within these next week or two, we're pouring all the parking lots, we're adding the landscaping, and as soon as next month, we'll actually have the first tenant move in, and then a month or two behind, the second user will move in, and then the building to the north is a single user that we're wrapping up their design and anticipate them moving in summer of next year. So really excited to see this on-base product leasing up well, and we're pleased with the construction and how it's turning out. And so seeing a lot of activity on this side of the base. One thing, if people haven't been out to the base lately, you'll notice significant MILCONs and Air Force investment in extremely large projects right around this area. So you're kind of seeing an evolution of this side of the base with new missions and workforce that's coming to this area.
Jason, this is Garrett.
But before you leave that, real quick, I don't know if you could share inside the fence. I assume some of that's secure, maybe not, and you may not be able to share the type of workload or who's going in, but anything you can share, I'd be interested to know what type of IT that they're doing on the base.
Yeah, so all the tenants going on base, most of them have a secure portion of their workload. They are, a lot of them supporting the various ICBM programs. One that's announced that they're coming here that you could see in this image is Draper Laboratory, which was initially the research arm out of MIT. They've now since formed their own company and are separate from MIT, and they're a great group to have come to Utah. And so this is their first major expansion into our state, and they're looking at additional expansion. So higher education groups and research groups, the PhD power sort of behind these contracts we're seeing come to Hill and supporting the missions here.
I was glad to hear the research part of it. Again, part of the effort would be at some point in time, it would be nice to tie what research is being done here with Silicon Slopes and just see if there isn't any synergism that can happen between the tech sector there and what they're doing here at Hill.
Absolutely.
Jason, if I can, and Mr. Chair, I was going to ask the same thing. Was this the Draper Labs site? So I appreciate that as well. I still say WSOA is one of the best acronyms that's ever been coined, the West of the Software area. I mean, that is just awesome with that. And to add on what you're saying about the development on the west side, once the Corps starts really developing that East Campus, which we did the groundbreaking for a few months back on the east side of the runway over there, and that's a huge project in its own right. Really, I think I might have chatted about last time, the development that continues to go on at Hill Air Force Base. We collectively, through the years, the communities, the state, the Air Force itself, the private sector, the chambers, our academic partners, all pulling together, really has created a space where Utah, Hill, Dugway, others, the National Guard have become a place of choice for the Department of War to perform some of its most critical missions. And I like to think that we as a MIDA board, certainly with what's happened at Northrop Grumman and a lot of these other things, that we've played a very important role on that to continue to have support for the national security, national defense missions that are located in our state and are yet to come here as well. So thanks, Jason.
Yes,
Thank you. Keep going, Jason. We kind of interrupted you. Could help us.
Yeah, no worries.
Keep going.
Just last couple updates. The Roy Innovation Center expansion. By the end of this month, we'll have completed the 90% design plans. And so early part of next month, we will be submitting a full building permit. We have already received site permit approval through MIDA. And so next month, we'll submit the full building plans. And the goal is in October to start to go vertical. And our current completion date would be second quarter of 2028. And so really excited. This is progressing. We have finalized all of our paperwork and submittals to the Air Force. And so that's in review with them to get final approval on this 17-acre ground lease. And so as soon as the ground lease and building lease are finalized, we'll be going as fast as we can on this project. Again, this significant expansion estimated at over 1,000 new jobs as part of this campus.
How many new jobs?
Estimated around 1,000.
And so we've had over 6, haven't we, in the project area?
Correct. Yeah,
So
over
this will be
6,000
7.
now project wide.
This will take us up to over 7.
Really pleased with this progress and the partnership. And again, to Mr. Harder's point, it's a colossal effort from MIDA, the surrounding counties, cities, as well as the state. And with all this growth, going to my final update before we get there, I'll speak to the camp building, Center for Advanced Manufacturing. We've finished 30% design this week. That's been submitted to contractors for pricing. So hoping that pricing comes in within budget and we'll release the next portion of design. This project is planned to complete design the early part of next year. And so the goal would be if everything's in line with business plan, we commence construction spring, summer of next year. Again, another colossal partnership with higher education, Weber State and Hill. And so really excited. This would be just north of the Mars building that Weber State currently owns and operates at Falcon Hill. So excited with that progress. And then
a great opportunity for students and for industry to tie together.
Yeah, really excited. There will be a strong tie to the different programs at Weber State and get hands-on experience with the Air Force and programs they're supporting. So a great partnership developing there. And then just to end the update on this last slide, there's a large infrastructure focus. The first one I'll highlight is 1800 North Gate. That project has been progressing So far, they've completed the bypass roads that are needed for traffic, and then we're starting on the roundabout and other utilities and infrastructure necessary for this project. And then shortly, we'll start on the site grading and structures of the new gate. This is planned to be completed in 2027, tying it hopefully to the completion of the interchange. So will be a huge benefit to traffic in the area, especially with the expansion of 1800 North that UDOT's already completed. This will provide a large relief for traffic in the area. And now that we have 3 nodes and 3 gates, the West Gate, 1800 North Gate, and the North Roy Gate, our focus is to connect the 3 nodes with frontage roads, and that frontage road we call Falcon Hill Drive. And so we're coordinating that closely with MIDA, the surrounding counties and municipalities, knowing that connection will not only benefit all those areas with traffic flow, especially ingress and egress off the base. It'd also be sort of a critical for safety and mission readiness for the base. If one gate were to go down, or in the event of emergency, having that frontage road and multiple connections to I-15 will really kind of secure and help with the traffic flow coming on and off the base. So a lot of work and coordination and partnership, continuing that infrastructure focus. And that's my report for today.
What a report. Thank you. It keeps going on. It's amazing. The excitement as we're way beyond the startup, and now we're into I wonder if there's another facility that's growing as fast as we are here of the 3 logistics centers. I don't know. I just don't see the other 2 that much, but seems like it'd be hard to exceed what we're doing in this area. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
I think the next item up is the Mountain Veterans Program. Ashley?
Yes, I'm so excited to welcome Christine back. You guys have met her. She has been doing a terrific job executing on the intent of the MVP program, leveraging both our state and federal partnerships with our military partners, running back-to-back programs. So I'm pleased to welcome her again to share about all of the progress of the MVP program.
Go ahead. Christine, I don't know if you're unmuted. We can't hear anything on our end. I'm not sure.
Christine, I see you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Is this?
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, I'm so sorry about that.
Okay.
Sorry about that. To reintroduce myself, my name is Christine Russ. I'm the director of the Mountain Veteran Program. I'm very excited to share some updates from the last few months. As a reminder, this is our first summer season with MVP at Sundance Mountain Resort. We have expanded programming to meet different needs within the veteran community, including a couples program, a caregiver program, a women veterans program, and a fly fishing program. To date, we have delivered 5,535 program days, and that's from when we started in February. We have continued to strengthen our relationship with the VA, which has been incredibly valuable in creating a consistent referral pathway for veterans into MVP. That relationship has also directly influenced the expansion and variety programs that we are able to offer. By working closely with the VA Caregiver Support Team, the VA Whole Health Department, and the VA Recreational Therapy Department, we're able to better understand the needs of the veteran community and the caregiver community, and we're able to respond with programs that target those needs. These teams are now and continuously helping us identify and refer veterans and caregivers into programs like our caregiver program, our women veterans programs, and other targeted experiences. And we wouldn't be able to have these programs without that support from the VA. We've also established a new relationship with the HERO program at Hill Air Force Base, with our first program with the HERO program scheduled for October. And this relationship really represents an important opportunity to expand MVP's reach and serve active duty service members who are returning from combat deployments who might need a little bit of extra help. Lastly, we're continuing to strengthen our relationship with the Utah Department of Veterans and Military Affairs, specifically the Resiliency and Prevention Team, to identify opportunities for collaboration and veteran referrals for future MVP programs. And then lastly, just to touch on, as a reminder, we are still exploring the MVP International Program Initiative by hosting a cohort of Ukrainian military personnel in the summer of 2027. That's our update for now, pending any questions.
What a great report. Thank you for what you're doing. You know, I hope we're able to get the word out as to what you're doing, and I assume it's moving through the military but also be nice to know be nice to have the public here in Utah know of your efforts. In fact, even the last report, I'm not sure the public really knows all the great things happening that you're involved with here. So thank you. Any comment by the board?
Mr. Chair, from Christine, great stuff overall. I co-chair, along with the VA and for our department, a recurring meeting. It occurs third Wednesday of each month. Mike Miller and Cale Smith are usually part of that, but they're gone this week, as you know. With that, I'm going to invite you, because we were talking about it yesterday. We'd like to have organizations that provide services and are trying to get their word out. It's a coordinating, exactly what Mr. Chair is talking about. It's a coordination meeting that's been going on for a long time. And we have Guard, the reserves, the Hills there, everybody on it to coordinate and share things. I think they'd really appreciate knowing the great work that you're doing down there as well. We'll connect with you and we'll get you invited to that one. Okay.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Right.
Man, thank you for that report. Who do we have? We have Heather or Tyler Kurt here for the recreation facility.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair and fellow board members. I'm Heather Cruz, Project Area Director for the MRF. And before I turn the time over to Tyler and Kurt to share the updates from the project area, just wanted to share a few highlights from our Salute to Service program, which is the program that operates in the Grand Hyatt for our military guests, the 100 rooms that are up there. So a couple of things that have happened since we last met. The Grand Hyatt Deer Valley has hired Ryan Cantrell. He's going to be the new assistant program manager for the Salute to Service. He actually started this week on Monday. So he will help manage the North Star Lounge, which hosts our Salute to Service guests. He'll be working on some military-focused programming, continuing to support the Armed Forces Day and Veterans Day programming, and those types of programs that are already in place. He will also help curate guest experiences. So when we've got guests up there that are looking for things to do, he can help point them in the right direction to kind of curate their vacation time for them. And then he'll also be helping to manage events and partnerships with our military organizations, both local and nationally. And just a few quick stats about the room stays that we've had up there with our military. So room nights from January to July of this year were 33,712. We've got 4,900, a little over 4,900 on the books for the total year of 2026, with the second half, August through December, is pacing 222% ahead of last year, same time. We've also noted that there are 603 room nights alone booked for our military guests over the Christmas holiday. And then our first quarter of 2027, we've already got 2,600 rooms on the books starting next year.
Wow, that's great news.
It's a huge testament to the partnership and the efforts that the Grand Hyatt has been putting out there. in partnership with our Salute to Service Board as well. So super excited to be able to share those numbers with you guys and just really highlight what has been happening up there and that it continues to grow. And then the last thing I'll mention is that they are continuing to book out military events within the conference space, 3 of which that are coming up here shortly will be with our Utah National Guard. So it is being utilized by both our local military and also nationally. So very excited for that. I don't know if there's any questions on that particular piece. Otherwise,
I'll bring it to the board for questions, but I'd like you to please thank the staff at the Grand Hyatt. They just really take care of the military personnel extremely well. So they do a very good job. So please thank them.
I absolutely will.
Any comments by the board?
There, along those lines of Mr. Chair mentioning, can you talk some of the comments the reviews, what they have been?
Yeah, absolutely. So the reviews that we get back from the Salute to Service guests are tremendous, honestly. The meaningful impact that it has on them as they stay, whether we've had some that have gone and stayed with us pre-deployment, post-deployment, and honestly, just some time that they take out, whether it might be a birthday, anniversary, those types of things to celebrate with family. But overall, we just keep hearing over and over how welcoming the property is, and how when they depart, they just feel really rested and rejuvenated, and they keep coming back. We've got a lot of people that are rebooking and planning, and just word of mouth to others that this really is one of those ideal places for them to come and just take that time out that they so deserve.
Heather.
Well, thank you for that report. Anything else from the board?
With that, I'll turn it over to Tyler to be followed by Kurt with their updates.
There we go. Tyler, you're on.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, members of the board. It's a pleasure to be here this morning to provide an update on the Skyridge Resort community and the GAC PID. Hopefully my screen is being shared right now.
You're up.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Here's just kind of a quick photo of the community, kind of looking from north at the golf course, the hotel, and the residential community. So let's see. Whoops, sorry about that. One too many slides. So right here is just a quick snapshot of the overall community. You can see the trails to the south and the north, both in purple and also blue. The purple are the hiking and biking trails that have all been completed that are open to the public. And the blue are the equestrian-only trails, also open to the public. All the everything in blue in the subdivisions has been completed and built, and we're currently building the lots in the yellow of the first loop called our Pegasus subdivision. Quick update on home building, and that's one of the things that we focused on as a community, is not just selling lots, but having folks build homes here in the area. Quick snapshot of an activity map. We've had 106 homes completed with certificates of occupancy. 18 homes have been started in 2026. We currently have 54 homes under construction, with another 47 that are going through the architectural review process or have stamp plans ready to start construction. And of all the lots we've sold, we have 82% of activity, some type of home building activity in the community. And we have 3 homes that are going to be in the Park City Parade of Homes. That's coming up in the next couple of weeks over the Labor Day weekend. We're excited to have those home builders showcasing what they've been building in the community. Next is a quick update on the GAC PID. And having computer problems, sorry about that. Here's just a quick snapshot of the clubhouse, the golf course, and the hotel, the lodge being built. Covering the clubhouse, we received final county inspection sign-offs earlier this month, and the certificate of occupancy is in process. It's going to have an iconic bar and restaurant for the community with a grocery cafe, a luxury retail store, and 3 indoor simulator lounge to round out the golf programming for the winter. And we're scheduled to open on September 28th with a soft opening for the retail store. And it's been an adventure and a process. You can see there's, hitting bays, there's, a great area aspect connecting. And a big part of the anchor is the golf course. The golf course is called Par 1. It opened over Memorial Day weekend. We held a soft opening because we didn't have a clubhouse. So we had to get pretty creative about providing, bottles of water and snacks to customers and patrons coming out. The golf course is a 9-hole short course that has both beginner tees that are really approachable, playable, and intermediate tees for people who play golf. And it creates a real kind of golf playground and entertainment experience. We have practice facilities with a large putting green, a chipping area, a full-length driving range with the top tracer technology, 14 private hitting bays with PGA professionals on staff. And to date, since we've opened, we've had almost 3,500 rounds played since Memorial Day, which is for us, I think, pretty staggering considering, we have portable restrooms. The food and beverage is, complimentary coming from Costco. And, I think the public has had a great experience. And they've had a lot of positive feedbacks. But one of the big things that we were able to do is we brought out the Candy Bomber Foundation in June, right after we opened for one of our first military events. The Candy Bomber Foundation is part of the legacy of the Berlin Airlift in 1948. It's a Utah-based educational charity that provides STEM and in-class program and learning, and again, just carries the legacy of the whole Berlin Airlift. And so we had about 60 people out for their event. A great time. I think it was had by all. In addition to the Candy Bomber event, we've also been partnering with the Mountain Veterans Program in the MIDA pit at the Sundance area. We've had several of their veterans and members of their MVP program out for golf events. In fact, when Christine put up her presentation deck, there was a picture of some of the folks standing on top of our driving range, pretty close to where the service members are here. And then lastly, we've been working with the Grand Hyatt. I know having Brian as the new person working with the Salute to Service benefits and programs. So we've been having a good relationship with Nate, and as service members are using that Salute to Service benefit, we have a program set up for them to come over. They have received significant discounts. We have clubs and everything they need. So if they came on vacation and didn't think they were golfing, that's not a problem. We have everything available for them. And then lastly, we're going to be doing a Veterans on Course event at the end of the year. This will be our 3rd year doing something with the Veterans on Course. The last 2 years, we weren't open, so we rented out to Upgolf for them. And so they're excited to come out again for the 3rd time to participate as an activity on the Par 1 golf course. And then next piece is the last project being built inside the pit is the hotel, the lodge, called the Stell. It's a boutique mountain modern lodge with 67 condominium units. MIDA will be deeded 3 units to do business in the state of Utah. We'll have a fine dining restaurant, a luxury spa, and then a real great rooftop stargazing deck. Layton Construction is the general contractor. You can see it's really connected to the clubhouse and the golf course. They all act as one campus for the community. There's a couple construction pictures, both looking north and south with the hotel and the lodge. And it is slated to open next summer. We're on track for that. It'll be part of Preferred Hotels and Resorts luxury collection. We've hired our general manager, our executive chef, and are starting to bring more staff on board. A couple pictures of the lobby and the entry arrival and one of the rooms. So with that, I'll turn it over to the board for any questions.
Thank you. Appreciate that report. To anybody from the board that has questions, again, exciting to see the development here. Let's go ahead then. Kurt, are you there?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Thank you, distinguished board, President Adams, and a special welcome to Dan Hemmer. I'm going to pull up and provide the update for Deer Valley East Village. If you can see the screen here, as Heather mentioned, Salute to Service has really gained ground and traction. The team at the Hyatt, not only through the asset managers, but also the on-the-ground team has really embraced the program. You'll see an incremental increase this year, which is essential to the development of the program long-term. We're also looking at other programs to help facilitate and do some fun activities with the military. You'll see former Councilman Farrell, who used to sit on the MIDA board, asked us to participate in the 4-H auction this year.
How is he doing? Anybody have I haven't gotten any. I probably shouldn't ask in the public because I don't want to.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
But he helped us.
That's a good report in the public. If we weren't, I'd be afraid about putting it out.
No, he's doing fantastic. He did ask us before COVID, we had participated in some of the 4-H programs, and our Mountainside Community Foundation, which comes from the real estate reinvestment fees, secured a couple of hogs. Those hogs are being donated to, once they're slaughtered and packaged, are being donated to the Grand Hyatt, and the Grand Hyatt will serve those for the military functions, these holiday functions coming up in September and December, gratis for the Salute to Service. So some fun programs going on. With that said, we just finished the spa expansion, and then going forward with the Grand Hyatt, we really have implemented what's called FARS, which is the Firefighter Air Replenish System. So this is a new code that's been really adopted statewide, but it's the first building in the state to actually have this. So Chief Hales is pretty excited to be showcasing and using this system. The Mountain Resort Foundation also secured a trailer to back up and supply auxiliary air to this system. So that trailer will be used throughout the regional system. Xtel, along with its partners, are working heavily on the fire mitigation and taking steps with the state and with local agencies, Wasatch County Fire specific. We're installing multiple cameras that will help with first detection. We are finishing up our snowmaking system and converting it so that the fire department can latch on, and when it's fired up, be able to immediately put out wildfires and have over 10,000 gallons a minute available.
Wow, that's amazing.
So a lot of work they're actually doing right now. They're doing mountain tests. They have 3 different shifts with Wasatch County Fire Department. They have the A, B, and C shifts that they are taking on the hill to show and have these adaptions put in place and go from there. This summer, we'll wrap up the 10 million gallon retention pond, which is essential for the region. It allows for helicopter lift out of it to provide additional water to fight fires. It also is a gravity fed, so it will do backup for the snowmaking system. And then thanks to the state and the Mountainside Resort Foundation, we continue to increase our defensible space. So we have about a little over $1.2 million worth of work going on this summer between 2 different programs, and have about a crew of about 150 men and women out there working on it. With that said, last Sunday, we had the public start to stay at the Canopy, which is on the north end of the project. This is a 180 key hotel, so it's the second hotel to open. We're very pleased with this offering as we further the village core. This will really round out the offering over by Pioche and Deer Crest. It has 4 different F&B outlets. This is really to service the region and to keep the traffic down. So just across the ways, as Tyler mentioned, is Sky Ridge, and Deer Crest is just immediately above it. But it has a nice new Italian restaurant, a sports bar, as well as a couple of other F&B outlets.
Is it brand affiliated?
Yeah, it's a Hilton. So it's Canopy by Hilton technically, but they just go, they're new marketing right now, and they call themselves the Canopy. With that said, we're kind of in a grind mode on the larger hotels in the village core. So the Four Seasons is coming along great. Between the different projects of Four Seasons, Waldorf, and Cormont, there's a little over 1,100 men and women working daily on the project. We're on the 10th floor for the B Tower, which is the hotel and residences. So it's coming along nicely. And then on the C Tower, which is just the residential tower, we topped out and we're moving on the facades. So those are really material efforts. By the time we get into winter, the C building should be fully enclosed. This not only makes for swift work interior wise during the winter, but also will start to create the sense of place with the village core as you no longer have, raw or exposed steel across from the Hyatt. And we knew that we have to get to a critical mass. So we have a lot of construction. Extol has a little over 2.2 million square feet under construction right now. And then Reef has a little over 800,000 square feet. So we know there's a lot of construction, but our goal is to get to that critical mass.
Wow.
The Waldorf, this is swiftly following the Four Seasons. You'll see that we're on the 7th floor here and coming out of the ground. So we're pleased with that. Won't be fully enclosed for the winter, but they're catching up rapidly. Marcella, our partners with Reef, who are doing fantastic as well. They have the key components with this, and this really is related to some of the bonding and the tar related to that. There are 29 lots that are in DRC, but more importantly, there are over 30 that are under construction, which is 3 times what was estimated. And there will be 5 that are fully available and occupying this year. With that said, they're bringing along their ski lodge, as you see, and they're making progress with that as well. Continuing with Reef, their Marcello Landing townhomes, again, are progressing nicely. They have 23 out of the 28 they have offered under contract, and they're in full development of the entire phase now, which is nice. Cormont, one of Reef's projects, Tower 1, 2, and 5 are under construction. They topped out in July on building 1, which is fantastic. You actually see that in the right-hand corner, just to the east of the Four Seasons. And they're progressing nicely with retail. And we'll talk about retail in detail. Retail was retained when we sold the land to Reef. We retained the rights to secure the retail. So they're building the retail and we'll acquire the retail back. There's a little over 111,000 square feet in Cormont itself. And then in total in the village core, there's a little over 200,000 square feet. So looking back to Extel's projects, this is what we call the skier services. It's going to be labeled the East Village Lodge. We've begun the turnover in sections to Deer Valley, who will begin their upfit this summer and to be ready for next ski season. Not this upcoming ski season, but the following ski season.
So this won't be running this season?
No, they'll use the temp facility that they used last year, President Adams. But this will be available. The actual entrance will come through the day skier parking lots to what's called the Lollipop and through the Louvre, which is this escalator building. But they will come up through the building. The skiers will come up through the building this year, through the escalators into the gondola. So that's a real shift in the experience itself. But when you see this cladding, the stone cladding and the glazing, just a tremendous building and asset for the region.
Wow.
Food and beverage, as we're running concurrent with construction, we've secured JLL to help us with the lease up of a little over 200,000 square feet. And our first phase of retail really will come on with the basement of the skier services themselves, as well as building 1 and 5 in the corner of the Four Seasons. So that'll be in 28-29 ski season.
How's the leasing up going? Yeah.
We really just started it and we have a great interest. There'll be tours and contracts going out really in Q4, which is positive.
Yeah, it's really important for the massing to make that for that to work. You got to have the project kind of built, and but it'll change the entire experience for the military to have that type of a product up there.
Okay.
So
related, one of our cornerstone projects, as everybody's aware, we partnered with MIDA and secured the 70 acres across the freeway to the east. MIDA is doing recreation on that side of the highway. Heather is working through an extensive plan with Derek, and the roads and infrastructures are going into place. We actually have the reason for this parcel was acquired for parking for the hotels and employees, as well as for workforce housing. Councilman Rowland and a team of his council people came up last week and toured legislators and talked about workforce housing, which was a positive experience. He can talk about that. But we're really in the process. As we go forward, we want the best for this region because it will help with not only promoting the community, but creating our workforce. It'll also cut down on traffic. We have 2 teams that have paired up, the EPS and RRC associates, that are preparing a report. So before we turn in our site plan to MIDA, we want to make sure we have the proper programming and workforce housing uses, as well as the associated community amenities, such as restaurants and grocery stores and a gas station. So we're working through that, but you'll see that coming in Q1 next year. But we're making great progress there. Councilman Rollins, I'm not sure if you want to talk anything about the legislative store and workforce housing.
go ahead if you want.
Eric?
Oh, you said Councilman Hunt. Sorry. Wasn't sure who that was. Yeah, we were very excited to host some legislators up here. We are particularly interested in trying to figure out a long-term solution for workforce housing, not just for MIDA, for the county as a whole. To give a little context, and we shared this statistic with the legislators who were there. Back when this project was initially proposed in 2002, the entire population of the county was roughly about 8,000 people. Fast forward now to this project. Once this full build out is in place, the workforce needed for the Deer Valley East project is going to be 6,000 people. So just the number of people needed to sustain the facility will match the entire county's population when the project was initially proposed 20 years ago. So that's a staggering statistic, and I think really highlights the need for a workforce housing solution. And we're trying to get the right people aligned, both in the local level, on the state level, putting together some proposals and solutions that we're hopeful that we can get in front of the right people and see how that might work in conjunction with what is already available with MIDA. So it's a lot of moving pieces, and I'm sure everyone who's ever been involved with the affordable housing challenge, there's a lot involved, but we're hopeful that we can come up with a solution.
Well, thanks for the report. As I look at this project, it's multifaceted, and maybe Kurt, we ought to find someone who's a historian who could get a picture of the recreation facility, the shack at Snow Basin. And at some point in time, when we get fully operational and get the massing and get some of the retail done, compare what they experienced there and then what they're experiencing here. And again, Summit County did not want this, didn't want the military. It actually rejected the locations, the multiple locations we went through them. This has been over a 20, 30-year project, and it's benefited not only the military, but as the county has gotten involved, it's actually helped fulfill your development plans, your master plan for this area. So it's had a dual use of not only military, but able to help the county hopefully accomplish what you visioned up in this area.
Yeah, this has been a critical piece of our general plan, and I think that's a key part to the success of this project. Is this was something we planned for in this area, and to be able to make that work with the partnerships that evolved over the years has been a key piece to making that work. And so now it's looking forward. How do we ensure that this is sustainable? The workforce housing is a critical piece. so that you have people who are hopefully local. They don't have to travel far to be able to support and sustain the businesses that are here and really make this a collaborative effort. So it's complex, but it's a fun challenge. We're looking forward to finding those solutions.
Well, we welcome your input on the board, but also thank you for your public service. So thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
President Adams, we'll definitely get the historian. We have a lot of the documentation. We just need to pull it together in a bundle. And then Councilman Rollin, thank you and your whole team for bringing the legislation up here last week.
Anytime.
And I'm sorry I didn't make it.
Besides the, vertical construction going on, there's really a lot of workers, about 350 daily right now, that are either on the mountain for ski improvements or that are working on civil improvements. What people don't recognize is this was just mining land and farmland, ranch land technically, before it was acquired. With that said, you'll see at Marina West, as I mentioned, this is the 615 space parking lot for the different hotel workers. It's key to providing the business and services, not only to the military, but to the other guests and at a certain level. So that's essential. We have the McHenry is the last completion of this redo. We realigned certain components of the ski as well as roads to really enhance it over the last 2.5 years. But this is the last Marcella subdivision, and it's going through its punch right now with the PID because the roads and the infrastructure go to the PID when everything is said and done. So we're going through punch there, but by the ski season, this will be fully ready and available for homeowners to come and build on their lots. Lot 11 construction, which is probably the nicest parcel we have, is actually will overlook the village, and we're starting to put the infrastructure in on this. It's a very small parcel, so it's boutique in nature, but it's one of the last components that we actually will do from a development standpoint. There's a couple other parcels that we will focus on as well in the village core, but this is the infrastructure going in. It's a 2-year build, so by next summer we'll be wrapping this infrastructure up.
So
and then
it's actually under construction now. We're pretty.
Yeah, all the improvements are in construction. So we just put water and sewer in. We're working on road grades. We're filling the ski runs around them. We're actually doing a new adaptive system where we're actually putting the snowmaking system into culinary, or that it has a line that can tie over to culinary during the summer season for Chief Hales. So he'll have additional suppression there. So phenomenal little project.
And you'll build another facility there, and at some point, Tam, will you tell us the branding?
Yes. Yeah. So we're looking to do a boutique hotel there, about 70 keys, working on the brand, working on design as we enact the infrastructure.
Okay, thanks.
With that, the skier drop off, this is a lollipop that I mentioned. This will be fully ready for this winter, and Deer Valley intends to use this to drop off the public. So they'll get the experience that they're going to start to have for decades to come. You actually go through a tunnel here that's illuminated and has signage boards, come up through a glass building. We've pointed the Louvre just after the French Museum. And then you'll go up two sets of escalators to experience your ski day. So by the October 12th is the date that will be turned over, but we're making great progress on that as well.
Let's hope there's lots of snow by October 12th.
I will take that any day of the week compared to last year. So I hope you're right. With that said, we're really wrapping up with ski improvements. There's Pod 10, which is called Hale Peak, which is directly to the south of the parking lots. The 1,200 day skier parking lot is going in. So that lift will be functional this season, as well as we did do 100% of snowmaking on that pod. And then we are finishing up, as I mentioned earlier, the 10 million gallon retention pond atop of Park Peak. And then we are finalizing the culinary systems throughout the mountain. There's 2 of them. One of them that'll be dedicated to the JSSD, and then one that'll be a private system because it's high pressured. And then sewer is complete and fully tied in, essential services that you need on the mountain. So that's in place and ready to go as well.
Wow.
With that, we really appreciate Wasatch County and MIDA. As we further this, our focus continues to be on the military and the guests that are coming as we hit critical mass in the next, year and a half is our goal.
Still a lot going on. Amazing work. And again, I don't think anybody understands the depth or breadth of everything you've just presented, but thank you for that. And very exciting. Do we have questions of Kurt while he's here? Anyone? Great job. And again, yeah, I think it'd be nice to wait until we have, a lot of the massing done, but I think there ought to be a real celebration at some point in time as we invite the senior military officials and come up and show them what's been done compared to what they had at Snow Basin. And again, I'm really proud of the fact that we've made good on our commitment to replace that facility after probably be almost 30 years after we get done here. So thank you.
Chair, I just want to, again, just emphasize how much of a wonderful host the staff was for us. And if it is, to emphasize your point, until you see it firsthand, it is very difficult to grasp the scope and magnitude of this project. And I would just, as a standing invitation, if there is any others who would like to come visit, we'd be happy to host you. You're happy to coordinate with either myself or our staff here at the county. But just want to leave that invitation out for those who wish to come see it.
Yeah.
President, one thing I'll leave you on, and I forgot to mention earlier, is by next summer, we have started on secured conference facilities. With the military participation in the conferences, we recognize that it's an important element. So we've been working, and this has been discussed for a couple of years. Heather and her team are helping us work on secure conference facilities. So that will be another feather for the military to be able to come and have events and yet be able to have direct contact back to Washington.
So we're trying to move and build secure facilities on not only at Hill, and we're doing it on the Falcon Hill project as far as gifts, but at our universities and with the research that's being done in Utah to try to keep a competitive military advantage, to be able to have a conference with that type of secure access with some type of SCIF would be an amazing feat. They can even drive their tank in. We know that. We've got
So we are doing, as you mentioned, we're looking at 4 conference rooms that'll be converted to secure conference rooms. They'll be swept before every meeting. And it's really progressing nicely.
Thank you. Very exciting again. And thank you to the county. Will you let your staff, I mean, this is and I don't think anybody really knows that. I mean, we get a report from the development team here at MIDA, but the Development Review Committee does a big part of the work as far as the review process and some of the technical side. Please let your staff at the county and those that have done such a great work and been such a great partner in this know how much we appreciate them, and hopefully we're reflecting what you wanted to see here. So thank you.
Thank you.
See that. Anybody else? If Mike said, Mr. Ostermiller, I can tell you may want to speak. I don't know if you took the mic off.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I'll just be super brief, but like many of you who are on this call, I've had a lot of opportunities over the last couple of months to talk about MIDA with a lot of different people.
Somehow it's gotten some public, press.
And most of them have been actually really fun conversations, because I feel like most of you do, like all of you do. I'm so proud of what we've done, but I have challenged a number of people. I said, hey, if you haven't driven by Falcon Hill or been up to Wasatch County recently to see either of those projects, I would invite you to go just check them out and then call me back and let's have this conversation again. And I've had a handful of people take me up on that. And I had 4 or 5 different people who drove to Wasatch County and looked at what was happening. They had not been up. They hadn't seen it. They had no idea. And they called me back and said, we're blown away. Like, we can't believe this. And it's the coolest thing we've ever seen. And I said, yeah. And I mean, this is what happens when you have MIDA that partners with Wasatch County, who partners with really, really good private developers, and this kind of magic happens that otherwise could never have happened. So I just want to say thanks to Kurt and Eric too, because it's a partnership between us and the county and the developer. You guys you made us look really good, and it just felt really good for me to be able to send people there and say, go. Don't believe me. Go take a look at what we've accomplished and what we're accomplishing. So that was really impactful for a number of people who were willing to go do that. So just
we're going to host the world, not only the military, in a few years here, and I'm not sure. And Kurt, and you may be involved in and know larger development projects around the United States or even the world. But as far as a winter recreation facility, I don't think if you find anything that'll match what we're doing in Switzerland or in France or in the Alpine Alps. I just don't know if there's anything else as far as a new facility that's been built anywhere similar to this. This is pretty world class. And anyway, I agree with Mr. Ostermiller.
No, President, you're correct. In the last 40 years, there's been nothing like it between the expansion in ski, the lodging, and the community components with the amenities and workforce housing. There's nothing like it, which is unparalleled.
Pretty unbelievable effort in Utah. Thank you. We've got another report here, so I know we're moving ahead on time. Thank you, Kurt. Anything else? If not, we're going to move on to the National Guard.
Thank you, Mr.
Right,
Chair.
Erin, don't we? Go ahead, Erin.
Yes, that's me. Thank you. I am Erin Madsen. I'm the project manager for the National Guard project area, working with our deputy director, Ariana Farber. I know the board is used to seeing her present, but I'm pleased to provide an update today on what is currently happening in our project area. It's relatively short. First, we're proud to be initiating the Tooele Armory restroom remodel. Now, this project is currently in the design phase, and it's projected for completion in 2027. And for background, most armories around the state were built in the 1950s and were not originally designed to accommodate women serving in the National Guard. And this project will not only modernize the aging facilities and bring them into compliance with current standards, but will also provide previously non-existent restroom and shower facilities for female service members. Women play an increasingly vital role across the National Guard, and updating these facilities is a really important investment in a modern, functional military installation. And we know this remodel will be a great benefit to the Guard. Second, we're excited to share with you a new position at the National Guard. Jason Bowl, you can see his picture in the center of the slide. He was hired in the new role of the Director of Military Development and Strategic Partnerships. And he has nearly 20 years of experience spanning urban planning, land development, public administration, and private sector consulting. And we're looking forward to partnering with him strategically to advance projects that truly benefit the National Guard. Lastly, due to the change of command, Major General Daniel Boyack left to take a national position as an advisor to the commander of the U.S. Northern Command and NORAD. And we want to express our deep gratitude for his work with the National Guard and with MIDA. Many of the things that we've accomplished for the Guard would not have been possible without him. And with that change, we'd like to introduce to the board Brigadier General Michael Kerr, and his photo is there on the right. He was selected by Governor Cox in June to serve as the 22nd Adjutant General. And we look forward to working with him. We know that we've got some great projects ahead. And so he will be a familiar face to the MIDA board. And that's my report.
Thank you. Again, a lot going on. And I look back over the past maybe 20 plus years, but almost 20 years. MIDA's evolved, I'll tell you that much. And it's been quite it touches, I think, almost every area of the state. As you look at the National Guard, we clear down to Washington County to Beaver from east to west and north to south. So thank you for that report and thank you for that effort. Again, really proud to be able to support the military and trying to make sure that their facilities are functional and we have the best on it. I think we have the best people. We need to have the best facilities in the world here. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other report? And I'm not sure who I'm giving this back to. Are we giving it back to Chair Hemmert or any other comments by the staff or by the board before I take a final motion here?
The one time I had the mic, President, it was stolen appropriately. So
get used to it, will you?
Yeah, seriously.
All right. And with that, I'm going to go to Mr. Harder because he seemed to. Let's take a motion to adjourn. I think again, unless there's something else, it's been a great meeting. Thanks for everybody's input. Great work. What it gets reported here is so easy somewhat to report on, but so unbelievable, like I mentioned before in the meeting, to understand the breadth and scope. So thank you again for your great work and the many things that are being done around the state to make Utah the best state in the nation and to support our military. So thank you. Anything else from the board? Okay, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So made.
Have a motion to adjourn. Second, I think we probably need it.
Senator Stevenson, second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Well, that's unanimous. The MIDA board is adjourned. Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. Meeting adjourned.